So you've mastered the dragon roll. What next? Hey everyone, Tim here, your rope flow coach from Way of the Rope. So the dragon roll is a beginner's rope flow pattern that most people are able to get somewhere between 1 and 3 sessions, hopefully on both sides in some sort of clunky fashion. So that means by session 2, 3 or 4, you might be wondering, where do I take this? What's next for me? And if you look at on social media or Instagram, you might be seeing some advanced rope flowers doing some fancy patterns that you can barely comprehend. And generally most people's consensus after a dragon roll is to then learn a sneak. And while I think the sneak is a perfectly admirable move and something that you should definitely learn at some point in your rope flow journey, I don't think it's necessarily the next thing that you have to learn after you've learned a dragon roll. I think there are other things that we can focus on either alongside or instead of the sneak that can be beneficial to getting the best experience for a full body out of rope flow. So in this video I'm going to suggest 3 different pathways that you can do either individually or simultaneously once you've got a dragon roll. And yes, sneaks is one of them. All right, grab your rope, let's begin. So the first pathway I'm going to show you is one that I teach most of my students within the first few sessions. As soon as they've got dragon roll down, we move on to this, and that's dragon roll pivots. So say I'm going anti-clockwise dragon roll, it's going past my feet left to right. When we do a dragon roll, there's a toe side and a heel side. So that's going to be my cue, toe side, heel side. As the rope hits heel side, I'm going to pivot on that left leg. And then I can reverse that pivot back. Once again, heel side. So as I do this, the rope hits heel side and I turn and the rope then becomes toe side. But because I've turned 180, it means that the rope's staying on the left side. If there's a line down between the middle of me, when I hit, the rope stays heel side, toe side, and then it does 2 beats here and then 2 beats here. So it goes heel side and I turn, and then toe side, and then I reverse it back. So it's that. So I'll show you again this way. That's one of the very first things, once someone's got dragon roll, is to help them understand the mechanics of the dragon roll with their body a bit more, is to start to turn 180 degrees with it. And then of course, you want to practice it the other leg. So you can, if I just face it the other way, now I'm going to go right leg, turn, boom, like so. So I'm pivoting on that one leg, the leg staying glued to the floor. Now once I've done that on both legs, I can then start to take steps forward and steps back. Now in the beginning you might not want to try to chain them back to back. You might just want to do one and then try to land and stick that dragon roll, and then when you're ready you can reverse it back. Now that is the overhand direction pivot. If I was to do the same dragon roll going left to right past my toes, and this time rather than going heel side pivoting on my left, I can go toe side and pivot on my right foot, boom, like so. That's the opposite direction. So this time, again, I'm going toe side, and the difficulty here is you have to catch it behind your back. So it's like before, the rope's going to go twice on that side and twice on that side. So I go toe side and then it comes behind my back, and then I catch it in a dragon roll, and then I can go toe side and reverse it, toe side. So you can see it's 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there. And once again, you want to do that on both legs, and then you can start to chain it. So there you've got 2 different directions of overhand and underhand, and on each one of those you've got a left-footed turn and a right-footed turn with the pivot. Now that then feeds easily to something like a double dragon, where rather than pivot, you simply jump on the spot and your feet swap places, which would be a good progression from there in the next session maybe. And another challenge is rather than pivot on my front leg, if I'm doing that same dragon roll I did in the first instance, where I'm going anti-clockwise and I'm pivoting on that left leg, that way, there's also the option to pivot a heel side on my right leg reversed, which is kind of what we did when we did the pivots forward and the pivots backwards. But I'll leave you with that to play with, because that gives you 8 different versions of the pivot to play with, depending on whether you're going in the overhand direction on the lead leg, overhand direction on the reversing on that leg, underhand direction on the lead leg, or underhand direction reversing, and whether you're turning left or right. A lot of variety, But that really is one of the first things, once you get dragon roll, is to start to explore that on the floor, connecting from the ground up to the hands with rotation. Okay, so that's given you at least 2 or 3 sessions, if not more, because I still play with this stuff now, 5 years later, to play with. On to number 2, what do we got? So the second pathway I'm going to offer you to do once you've got dragon rolls is in fact to work on the sneaks, but we're going to do this one-handed. Now this might take a few watches to understand what I'm saying and going away and playing with what I'm going to show you, but most people try to get underhand sneak, overhand sneaks before they really understand the mechanism of what happens in the shoulder and the wrist with the sneak pattern. So if you see someone like David Weck showing you a sneak, it might be something like this, and that's an alternating underhand sneak. What I like people to work on is getting the sneak on one side at a time before they learn to alternate it. It takes a lot of shoulder mobility and rotation in the ribs in order to make that pattern happen, and the wrist kind of coming through here. Whereas if we learn it one-sided, it allows us 90 degrees more freedom to learn the pattern. Then once you get it with that more freedom, then we can tighten it up into the alternating pattern, which is why when I teach it, rather than teaching like this, which takes a lot of rotation and shoulder mobility, we go side on this 90 degrees and we just can learn it like that. But in order to do that, we have to learn it one-handed with what I call shoulder spirals. And this is where we start. Now I've got tutorials for both patterns I'm about to show you on the channel, so I'm not going to teach you them here today, but I just want to explain that concept. Is a dragon roll is open both sides, close both sides. It's almost a mirroring. Obviously there's some axis on it as we go, whereas with a sneak we sort of follow each other's lead. So if my right side supinates, my left side pronates, but they're matching each other. They're not mirroring, but they're copying the direction. So you see how in the overhand sneak, the arms are almost copying each other, but they're obviously on opposite sides of the body, so they have to act differently. And then underhand sneak's the same thing. It's like this. There's a spiraling in that kind of happen. As you know, the dragon roll's a 2-beat pattern. It goes 1, 2, 1, 2. For one cycle, it's 2 beats. So same when I teach it with a shoulder spiral, is we go 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's essentially helping us learn the wrist pattern with one hand before we put it into the dragon roll to become two-handed. And then the same thing on the opposite side. This is the underhand sneak. But it's that beautiful shoulder spiral. You can do the 3-beat to learn it, which I teach, and then we go to 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2. And the shoulder leads, and there's this whip action happens. It doesn't come like the dragon roll is that. The sneak is that, right? And once you get that, like so with the one hand, then you can learn it in the dragon roll, one-sided sneak. Then you learn it on the opposite side, and then you cut the angle by 90 degrees and you do it on the spot. But first, I really recommend people learn it one-handed so that they can understand the spiral mechanics through the shoulder, through the wrist. So I'll leave the tutorials down below for those shoulder spirals. So that's number 2 pathway from me, is to work on one-handed sneak mechanics. Okay, option number 3 then for me, and this is something I teach generally in the very first session, and yet 5 years later I'm still doing them every session, and often beginners overlook this. I understand there's a lot to focus on. It's great to focus on dragon roll, but if you want to do more in your sessions, you're stoked on rope flow, Matador is something you can't do too soon and you can't do enough of. Matador is essentially this 4-beat pattern for one cycle, which teaches us to shift our weight, but it's not this aggressive back and forth mechanics. It's like shift the weight, take a second, shift the weight. So you can settle in, find your balance, lift your leg off if you need to. It just really teaches us a graceful way of shifting weight. Now there's one thing that if I was to start my rope flow practice again, knowing what I know now, is I would have started doing underhand matadors in some of the first sessions. I think it took me about a year, maybe 6 months at least, till I started to actually do underhand matadors. I just sort of overlooked them. So I would encourage you that yes, if you're doing overhand matadors, make sure you're also drilling underhand matadors too. They feel a little clunkier and a little harder. Just like underhand is slightly harder to learn than overhand for many people, the underhand matador is slightly more of an awkward pattern in the beginning, but the benefits for the work are there. And then this is where the real magic and joy of the Matador comes in my opinion, is when you start to transition between Underhand Matador and Overhand Matador. And that's where the fun feeling of rope flow and experiencing cogs within the body, from the feet to the ribs, through the arms, through the spirals of the shoulders and the flicks of the wrists, comes from transitioning from the Overhand Matador like so to the Underhand Matador like so. And the footwork that happens with that. So that's something I always encourage people in the first few sessions to do Overhand Matadors, to do Underhand Matadors, and to work that transition. And of course, if you're working the transition one way, there's going to be another side to do it on to make sure that you're even. But this then translates to all underhand sports, racket and ball sports, martial arts, and just the feeling of drive coming from the feet through to the hands. That's pathway number 3, me encouraging you to work on Matadors early on, alongside your dragon rolls, alongside your sneaks, or instead of the sneaks to begin with. Get good at the Matadors, get good at that feeling of the weight shift from one foot to the other, remaining poised and balanced and controlled the whole time. So there you have it, 3 different things to try next after you've got your dragon roll. You've got the dragon roll pivots, the sneak one-arm practice, and the Matadors, both overhand and underhand, and transitioning between them. Now I've put so much rope flow content out on this channel that I think is highly valuable for anyone that's just getting into rope flow or been doing it for a little while. I'll leave a playlist link right here. Now if you want to learn more from me, I'd definitely recommend checking out the 8 weeks to fluidity course designed to take anyone from complete rope flow beginner to a fluid mover in 8 weeks. Or you want to get a golden teacher rope just like this, made by hand in little old England, then check out wayoftherope.com. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you in the next video. Godspeed.